Alexa, pause. Hi, and welcome to another Cold Wind Talkers. I'm Darren Aquino, and everybody knows Johnny Pizza, our American hero, combat Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart and Silver Star, and we're going to get that congressional medal. Today, our discussion is about, and then we're going to thank our sponsors who are supporting us, who help us put this together, that we can come to you live through YouTube and Triple Vibes Radio. Our executive producer on the technical end is Sean. Everybody knows Sean. We love Sean. And Carl Van Nivius III with Code Media Group, who is also an associate with everything that we do, as Sean is when it comes to broadcasting. Without these two folks, you don't get to see all of us. So it's really important. So today's topic is about your civil rights. Today we had a little victory. That's why we started off with the theme from Rocky, because justice will prevail. Shannon, Cila, or Greer, right? She's
Correct.
both those people. But when she was defending herself, she's Shannon Greer. Suri juris. I am who I am, created by God. I stand before the court. So today we're going to talk about injustice. Shannon has been good enough to come on and share the story. She is a qualified individual with a disability and protected under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, but not limited to Title II. As you all know, I am the National Chief Advocate and candidate for people with disabilities. This show brings to the attention of the American public what's going on in America since COVID. Well, when you hear this story, you're not going to be happy. And we're going to talk about that and what you could do to help. And we always want to thank our veterans and honorable members of law enforcement who serve and protect on a faithful basis and lawful basis. We do not tolerate any disobedience because you wear the uniform. And we're always grateful and humbled at the service of all veterans. Shannon's husband is a Navy veteran. You're going to hear that story as well. But we want to thank the members of service and John, our super co-host, Johnny Pizza, our endearing term for Johnny Pizza. He hasn't provided any pizza yet, but we're going to have that. That's another show all about pizza. And again, we want to give kudos to our people at Code Media Group and Sean, our technical at Triple Vibes. Without these folks, this doesn't happen, and you don't get to hear the truth. But now you're going to hear the truth. Shannon's going to tell you why she was arrested for wearing a mask, and I'm going to give you the lawful definition, which Shannon now knows, because
Yes.
we had a trial this morning, and there was a pre-hearing for pre-trial of a stupid, ridiculous, and egregious attack on a female, which you're going to hear, inappropriate touching by police officers of a veteran's wife. We don't accept that. Nowhere, no way, no how. And we agree with that. This is about all lives matter when it comes to your civil rights and any right. We are the American people. We're not defined by what we look like, but where we're born and who we are. That defines us. And we're always going to stand by that, here, forever and always, whether we're on Triple Vibes and Code Media or we're in the street and approached, because we are the people of the United States. And that's what makes up this great country and the great diversity of the many cultures that make us up to make us the United States. And we appreciate everybody, and that's all there is to it. So Shannon, we're going to talk to you. What do you want to start with today? Today it's about you and your rights. So we're happy to have you. Thank you for coming on.
I first want to say thank you, Darren and Sean and Code Media for having me.
And John.
It's phenomenal. And John, okay.
I'm here.
The
Can you
pizza
see
guy.
John, by the way? Shannon, can you see John?
I thought he was a guest. I did.
No,
I didn't
that's
know
the
if you were-
co-host. We got no
You're the
show without
co-host.
pizza. You know what I mean? That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, this is my first time here, so I'm meeting everybody for the first time and learning what their roles are.
You get a little grace today.
Deepest gratitude to all of you, and for Darren for taking up my case and getting involved and investing himself, his emotions in it, and he's just done a phenomenal job to help me. I don't know where I would be without Darren. Darren, I don't know what I would do without you. You know, I, I just love you. So thank you so much for
We
getting me
appreciate
where I am now, which I wrote on our court notice that we got for today, victory in big letters across it, because I feel like we've really had a victory today. It's not a huge victory. We haven't won the case, but it went well. So we'll talk about that in a
Let's
little
talk.
bit.
Know what I want to start you with, because I'll lead you through, because it's your
Sure.
first time.
Absolutely.
Why don't we
I haven't
start?
been on a radio show before.
Well, it's a radio TV live.
Ah,
You're triple live, baby. This is the Love
wow,
Network.
I'm a
This is
star.
the Love Network. Everybody here loves each other. Although we disagree to disagree, we have a job to do, and all of us do that job faithfully so that we can address the issues that everybody has. And we're having them since COVID. Now, this issue with you and John being a veteran, Vietnam, combat veteran, no nonsense guy. We don't take shit from anybody. And we appreciate his service. And he was a boy, became a man during his service.
God bless you.
And
God
everybody
bless you.
forgets that. Everybody forgets that. These were not fully grown, like 30-year-old muscle men.
No.
Except John was.
Right.
When you did a cover of John's book, and you see that, we're going to get you one of his books. When you see John was like, he was like a young Hercules. He was a young Hercules. And there they go disturbing me again. We can't accept that call right now.
So you lived a lifetime in about 25 years, right?
I'm telling you, he is amazing. When we talk about the book later in interims, we stop and we talk about the magazines, and we again thank everybody for the new viewers coming in, and then this will be up, and I want you to start your day exercising. Let me lead you there, take you into this segue of you were going with your husband, Navy veteran. I want to make that clear, a Navy veteran who went out. Even though John's Army, it's okay. So good. So good.
I need to say, Darren, sometimes our video, as you know, freezes. And so sometimes that'll happen.
We got good technical people here. Sean is the best technical guy in the business. For anybody out there listening who wants to sponsor and send the check. Send the check. Send the check. Okay. John always laughs because, I'm the comedian in the show. Sometimes John is too. And we're still going to get to that pizza. We will have pizza live. And by the magic of television, a slice of pizza will appear on your computer. Tell us about the day that you look at this. I even got a professional mic later. Make like I'm talking into you, even though it's not connected. Doesn't that look good?
Darren. Hey, Darren.
Yes.
Before you get into Shannon, with the pizza, okay. I was on a radio show, okay, with Ron Yivitz. He has his own Vietnam veteran show, and people call in, okay, and what do you call it? With the computer, they write in, and this girl, her name was Barbara, I believe it was. She puts, she asks a question, all right, and she puts a whole bunch of slices of pizza across the bottom of the thing. We got a big pizza. That's all right. Go ahead.
That got your attention.
Yeah, well, that's Johnny. This is Johnny Pizza. He grew up in the Bronx area, like around Arthur Avenue, good part of the Bronx. It's an Italian section. As you can tell by the last name, our Navy veteran is Italian. He didn't make us any pizza either. We're going to have a discussion about that. Everybody who's Italian and don't make pizza to welcome us, we are very offended. We are very offended. But we do take rain checks. We do accept rain checks. So Shannon went to go and exercise her rights. I'm going to bring us into the segue. She went out with her husband due to the crisis in our country. So she wanted to be target ready. Her husband being military, and John, I'm sure you and Judy practice, right? Shooting guns, right? Right?
I haven't shot a gun in 50 years.
Oh, well, you don't have the need to yet, but you're ready. You didn't forget. It's like a horse, right?
Yeah.
You get right back on if necessary. Shannon was going out, and she lives in Kentucky, right? She was even watching the Kentucky Derby on TV. But in Kentucky, a sovereign constitutional state, part of it, a small, very
Commonwealth.
small part of it. Okay, she went to exercise her practice rights to go into a place of public gathering. I'm going to give you the logistical terms. A place of public gathering, specifically a range. When she went to that range, she has a condition that prevents her from wearing, because then she starts to panic. And she's given me permission to briefly talk about, because she is a qualified individual. And we had a hearing, and we'll talk about that after what she went to do. And she gives you the horrifying results. She went in, and she has what they call an exemption, just like me, as a 9/11 survivor with respiratory issues. To block my airway is to restrict my freedom when it would cause medical harm to me. It causes harm to one's person.
Yes.
So now Shannon is going to tell you what happened when she went to this range with her husband and became a trespasser.
Now catch me if I go on for too long, Darren.
Don't worry, we
But
got an hour.
that was September 12th of 2020. It was my birthday on September 11th. So my husband wanted to surprise me and take me to a place that we had never been. And it turned out to be an indoor gun shooting range. Now, ever since the whole COVID thing started in Kentucky, the governor imposed executive orders with mask mandates starting in March. And I tried the mask and I couldn't do it. It wasn't working. So I read the executive order, and I found in the order that there were exemptions. I went over it carefully to know what the exemption allowed.
And the exemption would be under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, correct?
It should be, but they don't specifically mention that. But you can tell when you read it that they put it in there as a CYA to cover that. They can't leave it out, because there are definitely going to be people who can't tolerate the mask. And
That's right.
one of the most common ones that we think of is children, right? And those with breathing disabilities.
And autistic who have sensory issues as well.
And sensory issues, asthma. So I went in, and most of the time I had been videotaping myself when I go into a place of public gathering, usually it's grocery stores, Walmart, Meijer grocery store, Kroger's, places like that. Typically, I would go in without a mask, and I would videotape myself going in. And this was something that gave me confidence in case something were to happen, if I had a confrontation, because they were posting mask guards at all the doors when you enter, and I was denied entry into a Walmart here in Louisville. And when the mask mandates first happened, there was a large man who said, "Where's your mask?" I said, "I cannot wear the mask. I have an exemption." And he said, "You may not enter. You may not enter." So I had to walk away. I did not have that.
And you did walk away peacefully, correct?
I did. Yes, I did, Darren.
You complied.
But then I researched it to find out, well, how am I, this doesn't seem right. How will people who can't wear a mask be allowed to go grocery shopping? To do what everybody else does, to go to the doctor, to do anything that requires you to go indoors. How are we going to access that? So I looked up and learned about my rights. And one of the people that I looked into was Peggy Hall. She has a YouTube channel, and she talks about, all of your rights, how you can just go in. You should be able to just go in and say, I have an exemption. I have the right to be here. You are obligated to serve me. This is your freedom. And so I started to videotape after that, because he turned me away.
Let me tell you, in that it is your freedom. But if the store feels threatened and asks you to leave, it's later litigatable for the violation, because it's a place of public gathering. But if the manager is uncomfortable, compliance is on your end. So I don't want anybody to think who has a disability. You ask. Yes. And if you're unaccepted, then it goes to another level, which then becomes the subject matter of your constitutional rights, and you are excluded from a place of public gathering because of somebody else's fear, and they allowed others, but not you. And the court, even the federal court, while we're on this subject for you viewers with these disabilities, even I, here in Collier County, told the commission when they put a mandate, if you do it, I will sue. Because people with respiratory issues and children of autism, now, considering they're
And
not
many
infected,
others.
considering they, pass all that, do not impose. Because then you are restricting their freedom in a place of public gathering. We must understand what that means. That means it's a place open to the public, and because you have a disability and it requires you not to wear the mask. We're not saying you could enter if you're infected and you could take off your mask. We're saying once you meet the standard of clearance that we have come up with, then they have no excuse. None. Because you've met you have no fever, you're not displaying
Outward
any
signs.
symptoms, and you appear to be healthy in that nature. And besides that, the mask cannot save you from getting COVID. I spoke to the best of the best, and it can't. Okay, because if somebody touches your hand or you touch something, you may not get it that second, but when you go home, if you forget and you touch your face, the biggest issue was wash your hands, right? Wash your hands. You heard it and heard it and heard it. So now continue. I want everybody to understand their legal rights in the course of where you were.
Yes, understand that I went in with the understanding that I could go in and just claim my rights. And the mask thing would have been better had I known ahead of time to just give them the reasons why and then just quietly walk out and then take it up later. But when you're first learning about these things, there's a learning curve. So anyway, I had a habit and a record of recording myself going into places of public accommodation, which are, by the way, they are not public owned, which a lot of people have a misconception that that has to be like a government owned place. No, a place of public accommodation is privately owned businesses. And most businesses are places of public accommodation unless they're a private club.
Hold on. You're misrepresenting the word public accommodation. Privately owned, as long as it opens to the public,
yes,
then it must facilitate, because it would be discriminating if it said you could, but you can't.
Correct.
So it can be privately owned. The definition of the law is if you open it, you decide if your private facility is going to be open to the public or private membership. That's your decision. But once you open to the general public, then the law takes over to enforce your civil liberties where you were restricted and others were not. So let us be clear so that nobody knows we are law abiders. We are Constitution. All of us here, including Sean, we love the Constitution. It represents freedom for everyone, but not in your case. And this is one of many.
If I could add one other aspect to that, if a place of public accommodation wishes to restrict and discriminate against certain members of the public, they have to apply for and post public notice, such as let's say you want to go to Walmart and you have a gun. Okay, you want to pack. So you have the right to do that according to the Constitution. But if that business does not want you to enter with a firearm, then they have it posted, public notice that's prominently displayed for all to see.
Well, that is correct. They have to post big notice, but it also, okay, here's where we go on. Suppose that person is blind and coming in with an escort. It has to be independently readily achievable for understanding. It has to have an announcement. There has to be a greeter at the door. Excuse me, sir, to advise. But most importantly, they must have an ADA representative to assist anyone to maintain the confidentiality. That person's duty is specifically ADA. It has nothing to do with the store, but to enhance and enrich the life of the individual seeking something within that entity. So we want to be clear.
So let me say, for someone who is covered under the 14th Amendment, do you think that they can post a notice against them coming in?
Say that again, please.
Let's say that a Walmart decided to post a notice that said someone who's covered under the 14th Amendment, a special class is mentioned, wants to come in, and they decide to post a notice that a member who's mentioned in the 14th Amendment cannot enter because they posted public notice.
That store would be closed. It would be before the Supreme Court, and they'd say.
So
but what you can't
they cannot post a notice. They cannot post a notice that discriminates against people with medical.
Because you shall not.
And they know it.
Any entity that is open to the public has no authority. Because here's what they did. They said, welcome, public. Okay, you're a member of the public within your state.
And in fact, the business where I was, sorry to interrupt you, where I was arrested, said on their website, all welcome, all inclusive.
Except Shannon.
That's right.
Shannon. Your husband was welcome, but you were not.
Right.
Isn't that true?
Okay. That's right.
Let's get to that.
So I come, okay, so I go, my husband drives me there. I did not take myself. I didn't know where it was. I'd never been there before. I held no grudges against them, but I did videotape myself entering as I always do. I post my videos for my own posterity.
So everybody knows, because of the imposition of these laws on people, and you have a qualified condition, you were in this time of executive orders, in an attempt to obey the order, you were creating your paper trail. In the event,
I was documenting, yes, documenting every incident, because I had encountered the first place where they said you may not enter, you are not allowed to come in.
And you left peaceably. So that it would demonstrate that you have a history of obedience. If somebody doesn't want me there, you leave. You're okay.
I never had, so let me say that I never had, in maybe 20 entries up until this point, I didn't have a serious issue going in after that. And I videoed and documented it and posted it, still there on my YouTube channel, Busy Banty. And that's 2 words, because I used to raise chickens. So it was a Banty as a chicken. And so I did this for my own security and protection, and as a mitigating factor for my anxiety when I go in and I get bullied by these guards at the door who want to block me from entering.
Staff members of the entity.
So when I come, when I come in, I'm carrying my, I'm carrying my phone. If this were the phone, I'm carrying it right about here. I'm just holding it up. I don't have it in people's faces, waving it around. It's discreet. I try not to show that I'm even, videotaping. And I document the entry. And I would claim medical exemption, and almost every time they would just say, okay. Sometimes they didn't seem happy about it. Sometimes we would talk a little.
Okay, she froze up. Are you there?
This was my birthday. So we enter in. I was in a good mood. I was a little nervous. I stayed back when we went in, and my husband went into the store. There were probably about 5 people. It was about the size of the area where we were in was probably about the size of a convenience store at a gas station. And I stayed toward the back, away from everybody. And my husband went forward to inquire about how to go ahead into the shooting gallery, which was indoors, through a door about 50 paces away from where he stood. You go through the door and they would allow you to go in without a mask in that part of the facility. So it was readily accomplishable that they could accommodate me readily
Achievable.
accommodate.
Readily
Achievable, thank
achievable.
you. Readily achievable accommodation. So I didn't know this at first. It came out after we started having the discussion. So my husband calls me up after a little bit. I go up to the front, and the first thing that happens is a man behind the counter sees me. He's wearing a mask, and he says, "Where's your mask?" So I go through my spiel. I'm claiming my medical exemption, and he says, "Well, you have to wear a mask in here. It's required."
How did he respond to your statement of medical exemption? That's important for our view. How did he respond to that?
He seemed befuddled and unsure how to respond to that.
But did he give an
And
answer? Did he give an
he
answer?
just said that, well, that's what we require. We require everyone to wear a mask in our
So
then
then
facility.
it would be truthful to say that he was denying your exemption on his own opinion, because he said, we require. Your statement of, I have an exemption, was ignored. Your condition allowing you, and the executive order within the state for qualified individuals was ignored by this. What's the name of this gun range?
It's called Open Range. It's in Oldham County, Kentucky. It's just outside of Louisville, which is in Jefferson County.
Oldham Range? Oldham Range.
Like Oldham.
Oldham
County.
is the county, and
Open Range.
Open Range discriminates against disabled. It would be fair to say against disabled veterans, because you were there with your husband, and they didn't want his wife there. Your husband, disabled Navy veteran, wife was charged with trespassing. He was not. You're a couple, and then, okay, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And then you were handled and touched inappropriately by the police. Is that right?
That's right. Well, I was told by someone who worked there. He came running up to me after I'd been talking to the manager. I requested to see his supervisor because he said, I'm just part-time. He didn't want to deal with it. So we got the supervisor.
Nobody asked you to leave.
That's the thing. Nobody asked me to leave. I was in a discussion like this with the manager of the store.
Employee. Identify them. Call them by they are, so that we know, and everybody knows, that they're not going to Open Range anymore, because this was a veteran's wife. And if
and this happened, I videotaped the entire thing. I have it all on video. So what I'm saying is truthful.
I did see some of those videos. I saw the behavior of police officers. The thing that surprised me most, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, everybody, you're here with us live at Code Wind Talk, presented to you by Triple Vibes and Code Media. I'm Darren Aquino, your host, and my co-host is Johnny Pizza, a combat Vietnam veteran, awarded the Purple Heart and Silver Star, which means he put his life literally and suffered wounds for our freedom at 19 years old. And we're talking about right now the civil rights of another member who served country, and his wife was basically, her civil rights were assaulted because she has a medical condition that prevents her, and she has coverage. I'm the national chief, and I'm telling you, and every federal court in the land, because they heard me, it went on YouTube, it went everywhere, when I told the people here in Collier County, if you force me or children with disabilities to wear a mask, you will see me in court. And now we're there. And we just got a quote. We'll talk about that as well, because when we went to Shannon's case today, these are the things we're fighting for, folks. And because of our network here and everybody joining us, we give you a forum to tell us your story, that we reiterate your story to everybody in the American public. Because, since COVID, and Johnny will tell you, Americans have been divided by the radical left-wingers who say that we're different and you could do this on that side, but not on that side. That's a divide and comes against the constitutional rights of everybody. Everybody is entitled to be protected. Every American citizen, let me make that clear. Every American citizen Okay, every American citizen, even naturalized. I'm going to change some things when I get to Congress, like not allowing unnaturalized naturalized citizens be natural born citizens to serve in the House of Representatives and the Senate. If the president does, so do they. And the reason is because everybody gets off scope and wants to divide us and say we could do this with taxpayer money, that with taxpayer money, but abandon the taxpayer who may be on hard times, like our 70,000 nationally homeless and disabled veterans. We have a systemic problem of mental illness. We have 14 million children that go hungry that are American citizens. There is no age on the Constitution. It's a birthright. It's inherent. Our founding fathers, right, the fathers of this nation who were immigrants, made a way of passage to the country. And if you don't follow that passage, you don't get it. It's called breaking the law. In Shannon's case, she claimed her exemption. She was delayed 3 times, and then the police were called behind her back. She was never asked.
Right.
Now, folks, you need to understand, if a police officer calls you, he has to, well, how can I help you? You have the right to resist unless he identifies to you that you're either a suspect to something or you've done something. Otherwise, why is he or she stopping you? Okay, we've seen the YouTubes. We've seen the horrifying actions of some police officers that do not wear the uniform with integrity, honor, and to protect and serve. And those, like these members here, they will hear from me. They will hear from me and they will hear from you. Because whether it's a woman, a man, black, white, green, or purple, you will serve with honor and integrity. Okay? You, the person here, Shannon, innocent until proven guilty. We don't create guiltful situations like trespassing in a place of public accommodation. How did they define that? How did they do that? She wasn't asked to leave. She told you before, and I want to make this clear because this is going to be used as evidence. But I do want to say to Judge McKenna today, and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to let Shannon talk a little more, because what I do here is I put everything out there, except when we have a veteran. Then John handles the big deal because that's his specialty. My rights, my thing is civil rights, and yours were violated. Judge McKenna, after she found out who and why I was here, we did have a private conference with the prosecutor. The prosecutor wasn't happy, but Judge McKenna, thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate every person in government who serves under their duties and responsibilities of the Constitution. She did so today. She allowed me inside. I told her this case is nonsense, that this arises out of the refusal to wear a mask that was medically excused, medically under the ADA. But then fictitiously, through nepotism, a friend, the owner of the store, is a friend of the cop. Are you hearing this, everybody? A friend of the cop. So now they created, not only did they manhandle a woman, a mother, a veteran's wife, like she was a piece of dog shit. And they were scooping it up and throwing it to the wayside. We need to acknowledge that and not accept it. It doesn't matter, okay? Because this is where it concerns us, where we need justice reform, okay? We've seen a lot of incidences that came against people of color, minorities like myself, Puerto Rican and Italian. I've experienced it in the younger days because, I have a nice olive dark tan. Maybe they were jealous of the tan, but later I found out it was they didn't like my color. They didn't like me. They didn't know why they didn't. They just didn't. And
they tend to pick on the weak. They tend to pick on men with small children, women with small children, the elderly,
that's
women.
Right. Well, look at the victims in the nursing homes that the governor and governors around the country of Democratic status murdered the vulnerable. They did not make a mistake. They put them to death, just like Hitler did with the Jewish community at Munich. Who did he get? The children,
people with disabilities,
the elderly, and the women that couldn't fight or defend themselves, to show dominance, to cause fear in a place, well, I don't know about Germany, but if you try that here, we don't tolerate.
People with disabilities, we can't leave them out.
Well, that's our new name. They went from handicapped to disabled. Now we're vulnerable. Well, the vulnerable have And we are a protected class, as I showed you today. And the judge welcomed me. She advised him, yes, you can testify, Mr. Aquino. Thank you for coming, and point that out. I said, I'm here in Florida, but I'm the national chief. You may Google my name. The representative, what was his name? Hunt? What was that guy's name? The
It
prosecutor.
did start with an H.
Yeah, he's so unimportant to me. I don't even remember his name, but I will on the federal papers when we serve him.
Something
For
like
malicious-
Huntington or
For malicious and discriminating persecution of a disabled wife of a veteran, and I point that out because let's take an example here, John. If that happened to your wife, how would you feel?
I'd be really angry.
Right?
Very
So-
angry.
and
this
he
country-
had the Navy SEAL on his mask. He was wearing a mask. So we didn't
Really?
go in there disrespectful. He, I was asking for the exemption. I was keeping my 6 feet of distance as the executive order defined out of respect for everybody else. I wasn't posing a direct threat to anybody. We could easily social distance. I have no problem with social distancing. I have no problem with washing my hands, and I asked them, please accommodate me by allowing me to go right through that door onto the range where I can be without a mask. It's just
and
a
where
few
you could,
steps.
and where you could hold on, but where you could be with your mate, your partner, defined by law as your husband. The two becomes one. So you're one.
Yes.
So they actually separated you,
They did.
coming against many constitutional rights,
For
sovereign
40
rights.
hours, I was jailed. I was put in jail for 40
In a
hours.
cell. In a cell.
In a detox cell that was filthy. If they really cared about COVID, then they would be cleaning in
So
the
they put
jails
you in an infected, dirty cell.
with no
ridiculed you.
hygienic products, no toilet paper, there was no soap, there was no hand
sanitizer there?
sanitizer,
There was no
there
sanitizers there.
there was not even a cup to drink out of.
Mm.
I was expected to drink out of the sink.
And you said to them that you claimed an exemption under the ADA. Is that right?
That is correct.
So they knew.
Shannon.
They
I had a
knew.
disability.
Hold on, John wants to ask you something.
Hey, Shannon, I just want to ask you a question. All this time, had any of the law enforcement asked you if you had medical proof on you?
I was asked not by any of the law enforcement at all. I told them I had disabilities.
She's getting a little free. She gets that on. You back?
But
Okay.
the-
Say it again. Say it again. You froze. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm sorry. So they did not. They did not. It was the store manager. The owner said to her to insist that I show a medical note or a card in order to be allowed in without a mask. They were willing to allow me the exemption so long as I proved it somehow.
Hold
and
on.
I was-
Let's be clear. You left out a point there. They wanted to know what your medical condition was. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
They wanted me to
Clear.
produce a note and a card saying what it was. And then when the officers came, right before they came, one of the employees ran up to me, pointed to my feet and said, "Stand right there and do not move." And I asked, "What is your name?" And he refused to give me his name. I said, "Why do you ask me
But
to
he
stand?"
restricted your movement in the store. They called the police. And at that time, from my investigation, so everybody knows, my investigation, I called the facility, asked about this and asked about, and they said they require a mask. I said, what about an exemption? No, you have to wear a mask. So we know that the facility discriminates. They pick and choose. If you're their friends, like the cops, then they will orchestrate a plan to make something else arise out of your unwillingness to exercise
They
your
retaliate.
constitutional right.
They retaliate.
That's retaliation. The action of the police is retaliation. Now, the crime is additional retaliation. So when we were discussing your lawsuit of the pain and suffering and damages that are qualified under the ADA, it first began when they said they won't let you in. And then again continue with retaliation. But then the police department, now you're getting to the third point, then they touched, harassed, and ignored and manhandled you, not even knowing if the disability could have been in your shoulders or more than one disability, cuffed you, brutalized you.
And I did have more than one.
And you told them, and they touched you inappropriately, where you don't touch women. And
I told them not to. I said, do not touch me.
And at no time was there a female officer present, right? No time.
Correct.
No time. Now,
they also did an illegal search and seizure of my property. They seized me, which is my body and my property. And
but they didn't give you a reason.
They didn't give me notice. They didn't give me reason. They just grabbed me.
And didn't say and then just arrested and nothing. That is, for everybody to know, a malicious, egregious attack on her civil liberties because the police officer was friends with the manager.
And let me point out, Darren, that the police officer came in without a mask on.
Oh, he could not wear a mask.
He was not wearing a mask.
But you were. And how many other women were there? Did you notice any, or was it just you?
There were a few other women, but I don't know if they were the wives of the owners or.
But the police officer had no mask on at any time.
He did not.
He did not. So he was freely allowed up to the point where they wanted you to not have a mask.
And then we were harassed, abused, called names, sworn at.
By who?
By other regular customers who were getting impatient with waiting because we were.
So you were heckled for being online because you were delaying their time.
They threatened us. In fact, this couple threatened to squash my husband, physical harm. He threatened me. My husband spoke up, and here we are in a gun shop, and they allowed the same people who accused me of disorderly.
To you and your husband.
And I never swore. I was very polite. I was trying to be polite, but I was exercising my right to be there in a place of public accommodation. I was explaining. I was being stern in sometimes, but I was also being polite.
This place, let me just clear that up. It's not a place of public accommodation. It is open to the public, but it refused to accommodate certain members in public. So let us be clear that the open range is the name of this shithole, open range.
Yes.
Is that the place?
That is the place.
That's the place we don't want anybody to go because they discriminate against veteran families, and we don't tolerate that anywhere. Because if we don't give respect to the family of veterans, then you ever see on television when they selling stuff, if you're the family member of a veteran, we honor you. What do they think at this place? That we don't do that? They're mistaken. So we want Open Range to know that we are going to slap you all over the internet and tell every member that you're a douchebag facility because you don't deserve the presence of the family who served this country. And when they hear about you, and I will make sure they do, because I'm good at that. I made the judge listen to me today because when I speak, you listen. Okay? We all remember E.F. Hutton. When he spoke, everybody listened. Well, I'm Darren Aquino, National Chief Advocate for Disabled. And when I'm talking, you're listening. Okay? We had a discussion today, and we're not being foul or rude, but we are angry. And we will use words that are free. They're not an attack. They're words of frustration. Frustration. You know, these words were created. Fuck, shit. But these things were created. But when these individuals maliciously, including judges, you know, I was sanctioned once. I was done.
Tell your story.
I was sanctioned in the court. So I told the judge, you know, when he says to me, you better be quiet or I'll sanction you. First of all, I have a First Amendment right. Federal judge sanctioned me. Oh, yeah? We'll see. I wanted to say, we'll see, you motherfucker. I said, what? But I said in other words, gee, if he sanctioned me 100, how about if I raise the ante to 200 and then I get to tell him something else? You dirty prick. How about that? Okay, now you charge me 200, judge. You know, but they want to limit you. And in our freedom, and let me tell you, the place of court is a place for you to air the grievance. It's a very frustrating place, but there are a lot of honorable judges. But we're a big country. We're a big country. We want to send out a little shout to this judge. John has this. Shannon, you have this. You know, at first everybody thought, but it says it's misleading. It brought tears to my eyes. The judge repeatedly says how many times I asked. He was pissed off that I had to beg the magistrate to accommodate me and my disabled uncle, United States Army veteran, who suffered voter fraud and voter suppression. That's the small end of it. That's where, okay, they'll give you damages in the court. But what are we going to do about the $36,000 they stole from him, over medicating him, cutting off his left testicle because they made him sick? They infected him and abandoned him for 7 weeks. But they submitted a bill to Medicare that they saw him every single day for 25 minutes on your dime, my dime, Sean's dime, Carl's dime, and they think they're going to walk. This judge, in the judge's order, the magistrate, which I put out of it, he says, no, you're going to do an amended. I don't care about your disabilities. And this judge says he gave the chief judge report and a recommendation, and he said it was a premature appeal. But he ordered it. Whenever the word order is used, that's what it is. You can fill and convolute the document with whatever you want, but an order is a document telling you to do it. In here, the order rejecting report and recommendation. This judge opens it up with says, whatever you told Mr. Aquino to do is now rejected. Garbage pail. Here it goes, like that. You're done. You will, and I love the best part at the end. I'll read the end for everybody.
And give the name of the judge, Darren. What's
Judge
the judge's
Mark
name?
E. Walker. Chief, like me, he's the chief. He's the chief judge. Here it is, look. There it is.
District
Order. And let's read.
Court.
Let me just read this beautiful comment. ECF number 16 means that's the document on the what do you call that thing there? The docket. He says the report recommended ECF number 16 rejected. The matter is remanded, which means he's kicking it back to with a direction. Magistrate judge to address plaintiff's request for accommodations in the first instance. Number one, we love it. We love you, Judge. You got number love from us over here at Triple Vibe, the Love Network.
Absolutely.
Okay, then he says for the first instance, and to set an extended deadline by which plaintiff must file their amended complaint, understood, taking into consideration any other reasonable accommodations that are warranted. That is the order. That is the law. He upheld it. We love this judge. If he was elected, he'd have my vote every year. But he has, and they know, and they will see. And I put it out there, and I hashtagged it Supreme Court because that's how a judge behaves. He said in the document, he asked from the beginning, he asked, what are you doing here? Now you're going to do it, he said, because I say so. Judge Cannon, she's a senior judge. He threw her ass right out the window, too.
He did the right thing.
You listen to me. I'm the chief administrator of this court in the Northern District, and you will comply. And today, and this nice judge for her today allowed me to speak. I went sidebar with the prosecutor, Hunt. What was his name? Hutton, right? Wasn't it Hutton? What was his
Hunter.
name? Dirtbag,
Call
Hunter.
him Hunter.
Hunter, dirtbag prosecutor. Let's give him that name because this is a malicious case against a veteran wife who just said, I can't wear a mask. The behavior of the police officers is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I will contact their commanding officer and tell him I think so. As the brother, uncle, and future father-in-law of real police officers here in New York City who defend and who are part of 9/11. I'm a 9/11 survivor. Your husband is a veteran. I'm grateful and thankful for his service, as I am John. You know, he did it before. When I was a baby, he was fighting killers, bullets flying over his head, bullets. He ran in and rescued 3, not 1, not 2, 3, and then was hit into the line of fire. That was entitled him, and I always say this, and I tell him, he's modest. No, we have the Congressional Medal for such valor as this. Maybe if we get this president, we won't accept it from this president, but, but he's entitled to it. Served his country as a boy, teenager, because that's what he was. valor. He demonstrated valor, courage for not only a comrade, a fellow veteran. He went in and the bullets were flying. But he knew if he didn't go in there, that person would die. But he went in and they were going, bullets going. And one hit him. It took him down. Took him down. Where's his Congressional Medal of Honor? Above and beyond. Where is it? I want to know where it is. My tax dollars pay the president, Congress, pay everybody. How come these people don't listen to me? They tried to stop my race. But now, justice is on the way. They tried to stop you from having an advocate. We had that guy, Hutton. That's his name, Hutton. Dirtbag Hutton, prosecutor. He said, well, know what he says to me, John? He says to me in the office. We're in the sidebar like this. Because I said, Judge, we're going to discuss our disability. So, respectively, it's in camera to you only. So nobody heard what we said. And that's the way it's supposed to be. I said, it's not necessary that she be here. I'm her advocate. I'm a friend to the court. I'm not here to defend her, testify on her behalf, and her exemption. I mean, no disrespect. I'm here to enlighten the court. So she said, well, thank you, Mr. Aquino. And I said, you can Google me. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff. I'm also a candidate for Congress. But what they've done here is nothing more than retaliate because she refused to wear a mask. And the police were friends with the owner. This is the veteran. This is the wife of a veteran. And she had an exemption. And I'm here to tell you that as a qualified individual, she has every right not to wear it. Nobody asked her to leave. She would have left. And that's what I'm going to testify to. And I'm here to help the court because, you know, this is just malicious, Judge. Well, Mr. Aquino wasn't there. I said, Judge, at the beginning. Okay, let me reiterate. Judge, may I respond? I was really nice. Judge, may I respond? She said, yes, Mr. Aquino. I said, he said I wasn't there. I don't know what. At the very beginning of this conversation, I did my investigation because a person with a disability contacted me. I investigated and found it creditable. That this is malicious. Okay, Mr. Aquino, then you can. And I said, Judge, one other thing. I'm a qualified individual too. So when we have this hearing, she said, Mr. Right, was she nice, the judge? We like Judge McKenna.
Absolutely.
We like her. She said.
And she's new. She was just appointed to take over the retired judge who wasn't so.
Who was evil. She took out the place of the evil. Like the Wicked Witch of the West. Remember, if
I
we
was
would have poured water
prepared
on
to
her,
go
she
in
would have
with
melted.
yes. I was prepared to go in.
You know what you should have had with you, Shannon? A glass of water and throw it at her. I bet you she would have melted.
Well, a lot of people thought she was great when they didn't understand the undercurrents of passive aggression that she shut me down. She didn't let me talk. So that really helped me to have you there as well, because I've never been in this situation before. I'm a fish out of water. And
John,
you have so much.
You got any questions on this? On how do you feel about this? I mean, you're the husband, a veteran, and his wife was basically, her freedom was assaulted, and the police assisted an owner because all she had was, I got an exemption. I can't, tell me to leave. They didn't tell you to leave.
They were willing to let me stay, and in fact, the manager was a woman. She was just hired. She did say, come over here and let's talk some more in this part of the store. So she was not telling me you need to get out. The minute she's saying, come over here to this part of the store and let's talk, and the other man said, stand right there and do not move, then nobody's asking you to leave at that point. It's moot.
What I'm confused is, John, why is a guy telling you to stand stationary in his store and do not move, giving you an order? For what purpose? Did he define that to you? Why he wanted you to stand there?
He was looking up they had 6 cameras, and which is funny, they were mad at me. This gentleman, or this man, I don't know what his name was. I'm sure he was the one who placed the 911 call. And he was mad. He was mad at me, and so he was looking up at the screens above that were mounted, and he was watching for the police officers to come and get me. He wanted the police to come and get me.
Get you for what? You see, now this is very important for the viewers. Come and get you for what? At what point were you told?
He said in the 911 call. He said on the 911 call that this is not an emergency. but the 911 dispatcher turned it into an emergency and said that I was cursing and yelling and refusing to leave. No, that was never said in the original call. So the 911 dispatcher made up a false account that got me arrested
We're
because
going to ask him his statement, and then we're going to ask the 911.
they read
She's
and
gonna let me help you.
the prosecute the 911 dispatch office redacted his name on account of invasion of privacy. They want to protect this public servant from invasion of privacy, which is ridiculous because it's a public service that we pay for. It's a national service. It's regulated by the FCC, which is a federal agency, which is regulated by the Department of Homeland Security. 911 is never intended to be used for non-emergencies. So this man, whoever he was, that they won't give me his name, is a witness against me.
No, they're going to have to give his name. They're going to turn it over. You heard what I said to the judge. Judge, I said, Judge, but you will advise the district attorney to provide full disclosure. Remember, I told that to the judge. I said,
but
he knows
saying,
he has to do that.
Hut was saying, well, he said we have to follow the rules of criminal procedures and this and that.
And then
he doesn't want to turn that over.
To the Shannon, there's two things that bother me. Is that he approached you without a mask. They're coming at you because you didn't have a mask, because they felt they were threatened, okay, with catching the COVID, okay, because you didn't have a mask. Now he's right in your face, I'm sure, because if he's approaching, and he don't have a mask. So now your health was threatened, okay.
That's right.
Now,
because you're a vulnerable person now with a disability.
Now another thing about did he read you your rights before he arrested you?
No. Oh no.
That's another thing, Darren.
That's right. No, when we were off air and we were talking, my concerns were that I asked her that. Did he read your rights? Did he advise you were under arrest? And for what? Did he tell you for what?
No.
Why are you detaining me?
He said you don't want to get, you don't want to get locked up. This is his words, locked up for something silly, do you?
What would be silly that you've done, that you committed? You see, what I don't understand is why would a cop say something silly? What is it that alarmed and brought you here to me?
If it was
silly. What is it I've done that you're alleging that I done?
He's saying it's silly, so it wasn't serious enough to be an emergency. He's confirming that it was indeed not an emergency. So they redacted the audio. They would not allow the audio of the 911 dispatcher.
They can't. They have to bring it. It's used against you. They were summoned by it. We demand it, or we demand a mistrial. If you don't produce evidence, we got no trial, because the federal court and the rules of evidentiary, okay, provide it. Full disclosure.
Darren, we have the transcript, so we know what he said, and we know that it doesn't match the original caller. That he said, we've got someone here. She's mad about having to wear a mask. She's in people's faces with her camera, which I was not, but the
camera will show that, and the video to the store.
And they
were in one place, and you were videoing what was being done to you.
They gave none of that video over, no body cams, which they're supposed to in Louisville after the Breonna case. Always have on.
To do it after a national outcry of what happened around the country. Not only people of color, but citizens around. Look at.
Yes.
You had instances, and in all fairness, being a minority myself, and I always say that because I don't want anybody to get offended. You know, when this young black man who was shot in this Black Lives Matters, the police that did want to get in and help him and try and save his life, and his father came out on national television, cry out. You see, these were cops that let us in. Let us in. When they locked down, what was that, Detroit? Where was that? Minnesota? Right? Yeah. Michigan, right? Michigan,
probably.
Michigan, where they locked it down, and the police pleaded, let us in. And because they respected the street, and this is where they got this crazy.
Oh, no, you're talking about Seattle. That happened in Seattle.
Well, I don't know. That was Michigan with the kid, I think.
There was
they locked down the street. where they were living on the streets with
Yes.
tents? That was Seattle.
Yeah, that was Seattle.
Minneapolis. Okay. Okay. All right. Seattle. Okay. Minneapolis. Okay. All right. So, all right. So we got a few. I wonder
Yeah,
if
Chad.
I wonder if I can get sanctioned over there and say a few words for a few dollars. I'm ready to spend at least 300 on a couple of sanctions.
So let me just say so he comes in and he isn't wearing a mask and he has no body cam. They've got 6 cameras rolling, and the guy calls in saying she's got a camera up in people's faces. I'm holding it right here. The lady I was talking to, the manager, says thumbs up. It's okay. You can do that. You can see that on the video that she indicates it's fine for me to have a video camera. And then she said she didn't know who he was. I said, who was that man who told me not to move? She goes, I don't know. She's the manager, and he was behind the desk. You can see in the video behind the counter. He's walking around, running around, looking up at the video. You can tell he works there. Then isn't it a lie for her to say she doesn't know who he is?
Well, yeah, she lied, but now we got to put her under oath. You said this. Do you know who he is today? Or do you still not know? And do you know, Judge, under the penalties of perjury, if she answers no, and in fact she does know who he is, we want her charged with perjury right here, right now.
And then the officer, when he came in, he asked her, now I didn't register this at the time, but because of the, by then I was worked up.
You have the officers' names.
His name is Ingram.
Ingram.
That's
the one, but he had a partner
There
with him.
were 2 officers who came in. One stood off to the side, and they did not name him in the citation as a witness either. He was there. There were 2 officers.
Did you get him on video?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll send it. He's thinking this trial's going to take 1 day. He's mistaken. Because I'm calling everybody in. I want the 911 operator because it's your right. You made this call. Who gave you that call? Who made the call to you that you decided to change the response and what you were saying? Who told you? Is that what he told you? Because we're going to put him up there. And you're under oath. Now, she asked me to help a judge. You've allowed me this far. If you stop me, then you'd be infringing on her ADA right as the advocate. Now, she needs help. I'm helping her ask the question because she's getting excited now. So I'll take over questioning for her. I'm not executing. I'm advocating for her. I will ask the questions on her behalf because now she's getting a little flustered. And the court, with the court's permission, let me further these questions.
Accommodate.
Let me further the questions accommodating her because right now she's in a state of panic, one of her conditions, because she's being flustered because she's in a court of law and people are acting lawlessness here. There's lawlessness here. You got a bunch of liars here.
Very distressing.
Everybody's going to go, objection. Argumentative. They're lying. They lied. They're lying.
So then she also lied when the officers turned to her. This part I didn't register. He asked her, did you ask her to leave? And she said, yes. And he turns to me and he says, did she ask you to leave? And I said, officer, let me just say, and he interrupts me. And and at that point, I was hoping that he was there. I'd greeted him politely. I said, hello, officer, how are you? And I wanted to just explain. I was hoping he would enforce my rights.
But you see, here's what the key is. When he asked you, you see, he was being a police officer, but then he became his friend. He wasn't doing his duty. When he asked you, because, you know, you get a little excited, so you went into like, hey, you start to ask the other. Sometimes you got to just answer the question like today in court. And I said, it's okay, Shannon. We're good. You understand? Because it's flustering. But when he said to you, did he ask you to leave? Your answer should have been no. He did not.
But at that moment, I had so many thoughts rushing through my head that I was focusing on certain things. I couldn't foresee, and I had no idea that what the reason he was asking that. Now I know I'd never been in a situation I wasn't in there knowingly trespassing.
It would be fair to say that you're still waiting for him to come back when he told you to wait here. And then a police officer shows up in front of you and says, did he ask you to leave? Like, I get that. I get that. The court's going to get that. The judge, well, why didn't you ask her to leave? Why did you call the police to tell them to ask her to leave? Why did she get arrested? If she went outside when the cop called her, even though she didn't have to respond to him, because at this moment, the cop should have said, listen, he's called here for a disturbance. What is the disturbance? Are you committing any, did you refuse to leave? And if the cop didn't ask the right questions, which he should have, this requires training. He's talking to a person that's a qualified individual, not knowing what your disabilities are, but your disabilities cause no harm to anyone. They cause no disruption.
There were no injuries. Who's the injured party?
You're the injured party. You suffered.
You're not the only one who has said that.
Not only this guy, whoever he was, I think you said you didn't know his name. The guy who came up to you said, "You stand right there, don't move." He's humiliating you like you're a little teenager or a little 5-year-old girl. He's got no right to do that, you know.
There's no right. He has no right, Shannon. No right, and that's why we're going to.
I asked him, "Why are you telling me not to move? Who are you? What's your name?" And then the officer asked her if she had told me to leave, and she said yes. And I wasn't even registering. He was asking for the purposes of trespassing. He was sent there with a 911 dispatch saying I was refusing.
But at any point, if she's saying yes, that's the boss telling her. She's going to have to answer to that. Did the boss tell you to do that? Did he put your job on the line to do that? These are the questions you're going to ask. The prosecutor's going to, no. She's an employee. Who made her commit this lie? We want to know. You understand? Because she claimed an exemption. What else was the reason? Did you not like her when she came in the store that you decided to call the cops and call her a trespasser? What is the reason? You understand? Everybody's getting past. They're getting into the crime that's non-existent as if there was one.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing with Shannon was, did anyone ask you or advise you? Did the police officer say, you have to come with me, you're trespassing, you refuse to leave this premise? Excuse me, officer, he told me to wait here because I claimed an exemption. You were not even given that opportunity. The cop should have given you that opportunity. He's supposed to talk to the complainant and ask you if it's true. Did you do this? At no time were you asked to leave. Is that correct? Yes or no?
She told me that if I refused to show my medical card, then they would have to ask me to leave. So it was an if-then hypothetical. It wasn't saying you must leave right now.
I can talk now. Okay. Okay. That's Frankie. That's our assistant national chief, whose mother died in the facility because Como rules kills the elderly and the vulnerable. That's the Como's rule. Murder the vulnerable. New York City assassin, together with Chucky Schumer, Letitia James, AOC. These people are responsible. This is lawlessness. This is lawlessness. So
we're living in lawless times.
Lawless times that violate the constitutional right to segregate us. He said, she said, and they picked a day when it's a color or a gender. Okay, I would say their actions were feminine.
Age.
And
now,
age.
I believe after this all took place, they came up with this term Karen. You're a Karen. Are you familiar with the term Karen?
I'm not.
No?
Karen. No.
What is a Karen?
A girl's name?
Is anyone familiar with what Karen means in COVID times?
No, I've never heard the expression.
Maybe we could let the listeners, give their answers to that. But it basically means a middle-aged or older woman who feels entitled to tell other people, you know, how it's supposed to be, and is basically, I'm not going to explain it
That
very
sounds
well.
like a communist dictator to me. That doesn't sound like a Karen. That
They-
sounds like a
they
communist
label-
dictator.
It's a terrible abuse of a beautiful name. You know, they
It's so close
label
to mine.
Karens as women who either are, it goes both ways. It could either be a woman who is militant about wearing masks and orders everybody else to wear one, or it can be a woman who's white and typically white in her middle ages to older, who is militant about her right to not wear a mask.
Well, here's what I think about that. It sounds like Karen can't make up her mind, and her name is too close to Darren, and Darren is confused with Karen's action.
What I want to say is that it's a profile, okay? And I believe that I was profiled as a Karen, and that includes.
They called you.
No, they did not say specifically, but they did say that the jury, my first attorney that I had to fire, won't go into all that, said that the jury was going to side with the manager because she was young, and the other guy who told me to stand in one place and not move was young. And I said, what about my rights? And she said, you know, they're young though, so they're going to have sympathies with the young people. So she was basically saying young people are going to get more sympathy from the jury. In other words, they have more rights than, and so age, Darren, age is also, I was a woman. I get picked on and bullied because I'm a woman. I get picked on and bullied. And I hate to say this, but when I'm a white woman, I also get picked on and bullied. Now, I also have red hair, and sometimes I get picked on because I have red hair. So there's an aspect of
Well, they think you're white and waspy. They think you're white and waspy.
Yes, but there's
very
discrimination
Christian
about that.
They don't know that you're very Christian and very good, very caring, very loving and mindful.
I am.
They don't know that, but they're gonna know it when I'm done with them. You see, because what they did to you was a crime. The District Court of the United States is going to see it that way as we draft up the papers. My document will be an amicus with yours, and we're going to give the same amicus to the state court. That judge is going to dismiss. She's going to dismiss because when she looks at the truth, her job is to uphold law. You were held in a place so a cop can come so that they could say you wouldn't leave. So that they could say it.
And they also profiled me in the first 911 call and said twice I was wearing cutoffs. They said I was wearing camouflage pants, which was true, but that I was wearing cutoff shirt and cutoff pants. Twice they said cutoffs.
Hold on.
That's a profile.
Don't, hold on. Let me stop you there. Because
and that was not true.
Hold on. For evidence reasons. That could be describing somebody else in a 911 call and not you. You understand what I'm saying? So don't talk. Because this can be also used as evidence. You understand? So as an advocate, I will tell you, don't talk when it's time not to talk. We wanted the facts. I know the facts too. We know the facts.
I mean, my point is just about that I feel like I was profiled, and that under the 14th Amendment, not only am I a special class with a disability, invisible disabilities, protected class, invisible disabilities, which we should also talk about sometime. But also I'm a woman. I get picked on because I'm a woman. I get, and I was discriminated against for my age by my attorneys.
The thing about when you said we should talk about the invisible disability, the ADA does talk about that. The ADA does protect that. You see, that's why it comes down to no asking. Only proof, and the doctor's letter says she's a qualified individual. No one, let me make this clear, and I told this to John, and we talked, no one, not your adversary in a court case, has the right to know the extent or what your disability is when either providing entry, inclusion, or access.
And I was told by the prosecutor, you must tell me what your disabilities are. You
No,
don't get
so he
any
could mount a
special
defense
rights.
against you.
And I found out later that he intimidated me and pressured me to hand over my personal private documents, and I was worried that he was going to use them against me, and he did, and then he denied them, he rejected them, he said no.
We want all of that stricken from the record. In a letter to the court, when I address the court, I'm going to say, Judge, I'm aware of this.
It was misconduct, in my opinion. Misconduct.
In the prosecutor's misconduct.
Unethical.
Gotta listen, forcing the medical evidence by using his title to intimidate, telling her it's the law, in fact, is a lie. An officer of the court lied to gather personal medical information, making it relative. He doesn't get that opportunity.
Nobody. It was a trespass. It was a trespass. Where do medical records, if it was a trespass, where do they get to ask me for my medical?
And when I tell the judge at the next hearing, Judge, I understand this. Now, in importance, as an advocate, a friend to this court, and Judge, thank you for being, and I said to the judge, thank you for being so kind. We appreciate you, Judge. Judge, I'm aware that the prosecutor bullied her, acting inappropriately, misconduct. As a lawyer, demanded her medical. The ADA, Judge, if you join there, you're going to see the only one that has a right to view in camera. No evidence should be redacted. He needs to be recused from the case. Okay? Now, because this is not going to stop here. His conduct is despicable. He demanded and took abusively steps to gather her information. The ADA is clear. He's not entitled to it. Okay? He tried some way to build a further fictitious, malicious case against her by using her medical. This case is about a person who didn't want to wear a mask because she's exempt, and then they turned it into trespassing. What, if any, does trespassing have to do with her medical if it's not about the mask? If it's not about the mask, what is it about? You see, so you being the victim here don't know how to defend yourself. So that's why I'm clearing this up so everybody knows what was done.
And the police officer specifically said, after he put the handcuffs on and we walked outside, he turned around and he said, this is not about the mask. This is about trespass.
Okay. How did it? Okay. So now, but did he say you're under arrest for trespassing?
No, it wasn't until after the handcuffs were on.
No. Don't expound. Did he say to you, you're under arrest for trespassing?
Not until after the handcuffs were on, when I said, why are you arresting me? And he said, for trespass.
Okay. Trespass. How is that so? And that we're going to leave it there because I don't want to taint the integrity going forward, because we know we had a discussion. We know it's there. I spoke in the court today on your behalf. We talked and addressed that. But the thing I'm concerned about is the prosecutor demanding, under no authority by the court.
Yeah, he should have had a warrant or a subpoena. No. He would have never gotten it.
He forced. I'm going to ask the judge to pull it, redact it, and recuse him and send for a new prosecutor. Preferably.
He also has a conflict of interest because he is employed by the same agency that manages the 911 dispatch, the police, and the sheriff. So he can't be.
He's
under so he has a conflict with the people to represent the state and to protect his own agency that he's employed by. And they made a mistake. They made a false report. He's trying to cover it up by redacting the evidence. So he has a specific conflict of interest with the agencies that pays his bills, that signs his paycheck.
Shannon, this is a joke. He arrests you for trespassing. That was the arresting charge, right?
Yes.
Okay. After you put the cuffs on, you said this is not about the mask. You're getting arrested for trespassing. Okay. In any area of that store, outside or inside, is there a sign that says no trespassing, or if you have a mask, you are trespassing? If you don't have a mask, you are trespassing. So how
go back and photograph the front of the store?
I did. There's only one sign, and it didn't say it. It didn't even say that you had to wear a mask. I have it on
Okay,
video
good.
on a
But
in
there's
a
no
picture.
trespassing. No
And
sign.
nobody at any time told
No.
you to leave, ever. You see, you got
No.
to keep it simple, Shannon.
Yes.
Did you tell me to leave? The answer is no. Were you given an opportunity to leave? Again, we repeat the question. Were you given an opportunity to leave the facility? No. In fact, you were told to stand right here.
Exactly.
Isn't that true? Is the man in the courtroom that said that? Where is he? Is he here?
And we don't know who he is. They redacted his name and his
They
information
can't redact his name. They can't redact.
from 911.
Does he? They can't redact his name. If he's the guy that called, then who made the statement? What is it you exactly said? We played a recording. Did you say that? They're thinking they're going to get this down to nothing. They're going to make it. There is no deal here. There is no deal, because I'm going to start where contempt is going to come in, and it's going to cost me a lot of money because I'm going to have a lot to say. It's okay. All right. I'm going to start an account with fuck you, and fuck you. We're going to be running
Mom,
around
if you're
the mouth.
Mom, if you're watching, plug your ears.
I'm going to show them what my First Amendment freedom is about, and where I, as a taxpayer and the national chief, have a standing in this matter. We are going to advise the judge and the court that this case, I'm not taking leave, I'm taking action. We're taking action. We will bring a case against the prosecutor for what? He asked for her medical. What is the reason? It's a trespassing case. Does it matter if I'm sick? Does it matter? What has that got to do with anything? Why did he ask for it? In his attempt of malicious prosecution. If we do it quickly, he's going to recuse himself because he's further going to bury himself. I know how to do this. I've done this before. And they all panicked. I had them in the family court like this. I can't speak. He's got in the federal court. I ain't saying nothing. I brought the corporation counsel. Everybody was like this.
I'd love to ask him who signed. I'd love to ask the 911 dispatcher who signs your checks. It's David Vogel, isn't it? The judge magistrate of fiscal courts for Oldham County. Then
how do you associate this? It's very important for the viewers to know. She's frozen. Unfreeze, Shannon. Now, unfreeze. Go ahead. Unfreeze. Magically unfreeze, Shannon. She has bad connection. Do you hear this story? Is this incredible?
Okay. Yeah. I just got cut off. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, back to camera.
Someone tried to call me.
There you are. Look at you. Doesn't she look like Sissy Spacek? Right? Don't laugh at you.
Someone just tried to call me on the phone, and it totally shuts me down and disconnects me from Skype.
You know, that movie that's funny with Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
The mother, because she's special like Shannon. The mother tells her not to go to the dance, and because they've been making fun of her. And this is Sissy older, okay? Because she was like 16. It was like the Sweet 16 dance. And the mother said, "Don't go. Don't laugh at you." And the funny thing is, I was working on Law and Order Special Victims. And the mother is one of the day players and a star on the show. Me and my friend that were regulars on there, okay, Derek Thomas, big brother, cool, we're laughing. We're both going back and forth like this. Don't laugh at you. Don't laugh at you. Because that was like, it stayed in your mind when you see this movie. I told. That's
Shannon, our inside joke, Darren.
I told Shannon, Sissy, she's got to watch this movie. You got to watch it because at first when I told her, she didn't get, "No, they'll laugh at you." She didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh, you never saw the movie?
It's our inside joke. But
yeah, it's our inside joke now.
I called Darren Michael Savage because I didn't get to see his face when I first talked to him on the phone, but he sounds like Michael Savage to me. So I don't know if anybody knows Michael Savage. Darren didn't know who he was, but Shehar did. So
yeah. So what do you think about today overall? How did you find me, by the way? People want to know about that.
I did do a Google I somehow came across that you could have an ADA advocate. I came across it probably in some of the forums that I'm in about the mask mandates and constitutional things. And I contacted another advocate and I spoke with him. And then I thought, let me see who all else is out there. And then I
So
saw
what did you actually type in? Because the viewers, when you were checking,
ADA advocate, court. And then I also saw the thing that caught my attention, Darren, was that it was for police and firemen and veterans.
And I was first on that list, right?
Yes,
I was
and
first.
I do, by the way, come from a family of law enforcement and military as well, and I served in the U.S. Peace Corps, and I did work for some government agencies as a teacher as well. So, you know,
we wanted to know is how you found me.
And so I saw, and so I hope I answered that, but I saw that you represented law enforcement and firemen and families and Americans.
Covers everybody.
With disabilities. Yes, so I saw that it covered all, but it happened to be, I served on the volunteer fire department for 3 years as well. And I thought, this guy, I'm going to call him right away. And I was so glad that I called the number and you just picked right up. There was no waiting. I didn't have to leave a message. You know, I didn't know what to expect, but you're so personable and easy to talk to that I felt immediately at ease, and I was just happy. We just started talking like we'd known each other for a year, you know.
I was at that 16th birthday when they dropped the paint on your head. I told you I'd laugh at you. But then we Zoomed and we talked, and I took an interest in what she told me. And then we've been friends ever since. She's gonna try and come to the event with her husband.
I highly recommend ADA advocates for anybody who is going to court for any reason. You may not even realize that you have a disability. You should check with Darren and just talk about, like, do you have a disability that would qualify? Because a lot of people don't even realize if you have allergies, it could be a qualifying disability.
Depending where you are,
if the definition, it has for a disability that's recognized by the ADA, it has to affect at least one major body system.
It's gotta no. Let me give the clarification. The clarification is an effect of a major life activity. That is the defining statement that defines whatever affects your life's activity. Seeing, walking, bending, talking, breathing, standing, bending, a life activity. Okay? Going to the bathroom. That's life activity.
Huh? Communication.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. That's under a category of a mental effect, which could, because your brain's functions and cognitive abilities are not mentally ill per se, but there is an illness of the brain that doesn't allow a person to effectively communicate because of a separation of the brain that doesn't cognitively put things together.
I want to say that anyone who is listening, that Darren Aquino's ADA advocacy agency is well worthy of your support and donations. Please donate. Please donate to this cause. It is so important in today's COVID times. You know, I can't recommend his advocacy more highly, and it's so valuable. So thank you, Darren.
You're very welcome. But today, you saw that the advocacy did have some leverage with the court, not in an unjust way, in a just way. That she had right, and
very positive outcome.
Were you happy today?
Put them at ease. I was elated. I put victory on.
To see me on the screen, right? I spoke to the cop. Cop said, "And you are?" I said, "I'm the guy that helps all." After I gave him my title, I'm the guy that helps all cops. No problem. I'm gonna put you right here in the waiting room. You understand? It's how you relate to people. You understand? Basically, for the most part, we're all good. We're all good. You know, we have different challenges we face. You know, some people like to say there's a systemic racist problem. There isn't. There are prejudiced people, no doubt about it. They're around southern states, New York State. They're around. They're there. That's the nature of that person. It's hurtful. It's harmful. You know, we have courts of law to deal with that. And sometimes there's street justice. I grew up in the streets. And sometimes street justice isn't right, but at the moment it works. I don't promote it, but sometimes there's no alternative. Today, we've gotten away from the basic values of who we are. They want to take God out of country and take the country out of the country. They want to make us a third world country. They want us to be in submission to the authority of a government leader when we are endowed by our Creator above. Our forefathers and framers said, we the people. We are the masters of our destiny. As we go into the end of the show, I don't know if we got more time. I don't know how much time we have, but, you know, I want to recognize, again, that it's Code Media Group. Carl is the executive of Code Media Group, who partnered up with me in CV19, together with Dr. Antominoff, and also partnered up with me and John. This here is my creation, this forum. He reached out to Sean, very excellent technical, you know, that's why we're here. Even with your freezing and everything, we get to bring the message. All of us in our own right have a responsibility and a duty to do what it is that we say. Sean is one of the best technical guys through Triple Vibes Radio. You got to listen to it on the week. It's a Triple Vibe. I know some of the folks there, and they're going to be at the event for the magazine that I created. And Carl joined me. Code Media Group got behind it. Doc is a supporter. Why did I bring them in? Because COVID. I'm the voice of the vulnerable. So it was an opportunity to give truth through medical science and to talk about the vulnerable, because they are 50% of the country. John's a disabled veteran, right? He needs a forum. He needs an avenue. John is going to have an ad in the magazine. He's supporting this effort, but we are going to have, for now and forever, the veterans will always have a space in the magazine at no cost, because they paid the cost for my freedom, and this is how we give it back. We give you a space here, and that's always going to happen, John. There'll always be a page to talk about a specific veteran of the month or that thing you do with the Purple Heart. I will rely on you to bring that to us, to recognize a veteran, and they get a page, full page, front and back, every month at no cost, because they paid that price already. And that includes your husband as well, and every veteran in the sound of our voice, including Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh is Navy, and, you know, we take care of our veterans. That's what we're supposed to do. A lot of people don't, but we always will. Triple Vibes does it, Code Media does it, CV19 does it, and Code Wind Talkers is all about it. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. That's why we give you this platform. So we are grateful to all those. So I want to play this. What's her name again? Alexa, continue.
Last week.
I think this is how we're going to sign off. Today was a day of strength and power as Americans. We're going out strong, and we're going to win. I'm Darren Aquino, your host, and my co-host, Johnny Pizza, and Shannon Greer, coming here to tell our story. God bless you. God bless America.
God bless you.
And let's talk about, don't forget to get the last goodbye. At last goodbye, DashBook.com. The last goodbye, DashBook.com. Carl,
Thank you
Sean,
for having
thank
me.
you.
Thank you for having
Aquino.
me. Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time at another Code Wind Talk. If you got an issue, come to us. We want to hear it, and we love you all. And we're signing off. I don't know if Sean, are we signing off? Or are we going out?
God bless everyone. Stay well and stay safe.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Wait, let me turn out the lights.
your
Are
husband.
you feeling strong now? Do you feel it now? You feel your strength, your civil rights? They're coming to life. We will win.
Air, the free air of America.
My favorite part. This is when he's triumphing. And that's what we did here.
We did it. We triumphed.
Justice is real.
It's one for the good guys, Darren.
Victory.
There we go. That's right. There we go. We had a great show today, everybody. We had a great show.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully,
Alexa, pause. It's a
I'd
great
love to come
show.
back again sometime.
Oh, you'll be back. Don't worry. When we come back to tell the story how we won and they ran like chickens.
Give them the update.
You had a chicken farm, right? Well, they're gonna run like chickens. Yeah, he's skilled in that. And Johnny's gonna make pizza. We don't know where we are. Are we still live? I guess we are. Somebody doesn't want to sign us off.
You know what? Maybe they like the show.
They do. I mean, come on. Feeling strong now?
I am. Well, if we're still here, do you want to keep talking?
Well, we are here, so we can keep talking.
We're still here, so.
I didn't see a message. Did you get a message from Sean?
No.
Okay, so they want us to keep going. All right.
All right. Do you have another song to sign us out on when we're done here?
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah,
Like,
sure.
didn't you have the Survivor or something like that?
Oh,
Yeah,
Alexa,
Tiger?
My Way, Frank Sinatra.
Here's My Way by Frank Sinatra on Amazon Music.
I didn't know it
This
started.
is applicable to us.
The end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend,
I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain.
I've lived
A
a
life
life
that's
that's
full,
full,
and traveled each and every highway,
and more,
much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I got more than a few.
I didn't know you could sing, Darren.
But then again,
Too few to mention.
Oh, what a great voice.
I did
What I had to do, I saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out.
Sing it.
I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way.
Listen, Darren. Wow.
I've had my fill of my share of losing.
and
Now,
as
tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I've done all that,
Yeah.
and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, Oh no, not me. I did it my way. What is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Woo!
That's the cricket.
Thank you, Alexa. Yes, it was my way. Pause, Alexa. That's how we acted in court today.
We waltzed in.
And imagine if I rehearsed for that. Wow.
Sounds like you did.
No, I used to sing in church. I used to like to sing in church. I still like
I
to
did
sing in
too.
church.
Me too.
It's big for me. It's big, huge. I'm not singing anymore unless you throw nickels and dimes. Okay, quarters.
The only place I
You missed it. I sang. Missed it.
so nobody can hear me.
John,
Say
what
again,
did you
John?
say?
I said the only place I sing is in the shower, so nobody can hear me.
Oh, I bet everybody could hear you.
You sing solo, right? You sing
Let's hear
solo.
from John. John, you didn't get to answer Darren's question earlier that he asked if it had happened to your wife. What would you?
Oh, I'd have been furious. Furious, yeah. I don't know what I would have done. You didn't have to be in that situation. To
Oh,
really...
come on. You would have called me.
I was just gonna say, I nicknamed him the Cricket because he was like my conscience. He's always, it's like, yeah, remember Jiminy
like
Cricket?
Jiminy?
Yeah.
Jiminy?
I'm Cricket. We forgot to tell you. My nickname with him is I'm the Cricket. I'm always sitting on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, if they would have did that to his wife, just like you. Okay. Eric, quiet, please. Thank you. Because we're still live. Okay. Okay. He's showing me two
Shannon,
kids.
I think if I was in my younger days, I think I would have reacted pretty, and I probably would have got arrested. But I think I would have, because
But
when I was
don't you
younger,
find it? Don't you
Huh?
find it troubling?
oh yeah,
She's trespassing and he's not, and they're a couple.
yes, yeah. I mean, your husband was right next to you, right? And he got arrested. I
And
just don't get.
well, the defense, and I said that to the judge while we were inside. I find this a little peculiar, Judge. I find it, trespassing over a mask, and she's with her husband, and he's not arrested, but she is. So we're gonna have I'm trying to find the right words to say what we're going to have here. I have a few words that would go on the contempt list, and the penalizing me list. Me and Shannon were laughing about that today. We had a call for we speak a lot, and we talk related to the case. And then, you get some side joke, because you know me, Johnny. So something funny pops up. I got to expound on that. Especially with the contempt of court. And I was sanctioned when they sanctioned me. He sanctioned me $100. So, yeah, well, sanction me another $200, you fucking prick.
Mom,
You're not
my
listening.
ears.
Because he sanctioned me. So it was well worth the $200.
Darren, my mom just sent me a text and she said that Darren Aquino is tempered steel. I think it's true.
Listen, when you look at The Last Goodbye, let's talk about The Last Goodbye. Bring up the book, John. Bring up the book. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the book. That's John and his cousin.
You're holding it up, John. Tell me about The Last Goodbye.
I want you to see those two images. Look at the two images.
I can't see them. Move them over
Lift it
more.
up higher, John. Higher.
Oh.
There you
move.
See those
Keep
two
going.
images, Shannon?
Yes.
See those images? That's him and his cousin. John, is the picture behind you of Anthony?
Oh yeah.
Bring it over. Bring it in. Let's bring in our daily
I
departed.
could get out of the. I could get it in the.
Let's bring it into the frame.
Wait.
We want to give honor to our fallen soldiers.
Can you see him there?
There you go.
Over a little bit more. Yes.
That's his cousin Anthony, a boy, 19. He was shot. John
No,
brought the body
blown
back.
up. He was blown up.
He was blown up. Sorry,
Right.
blown up. And John brought back the body. John came back with the body. His cousin. They lived together like brothers. When you read the story, we got to get you a book, and John will sign it. When you look at John, show the back of the book where you're like Hercules. And you'll see what I mean. He doesn't look like he's 19.
That's in the book. This is the back of the book.
Okay, get the bigger picture where he's like huge, big huge, like a Hercules.
I don't know.
No doubt, Hercules. No doubt. At 19, Hercules. I just want to make that clear. His middle name is Hercules. Hercules.
Cricket and Hercules.
Yes. Well, I gotta need somebody strong because you know why? They don't like me. I have a big mouth, so I gotta have a muscle guy with me. That's why he's coming to the opening. Somebody's got to silence me. But we love this here. They must be going crazy. Must be a fun time. Carl must be going crazy and saying, "I love you. You're a superstar." And
Darren,
you're here.
tell my mom about the pictures behind you. Tell my mom she's listening.
Oh, these pictures here. Well, John's getting a picture. These are the presidents. 4 presidents, including.
Can you show him a little bit? Show him. Turn it a little bit. There you go.
That's it. That picture of President Reagan's funeral, only 100 were made, commissioned by Nancy Reagan. I got number 20. Only 100 people got them. I was number 20. So that's pretty good on the list. You know what I mean? I'm not in the top 10, but I'm okay with the top 20. So that's just one. And over here, listen, I have my recognition goes into that guy up there. The Democrat up there with Hillary and Billy Bob.
I can't see it, but I guess.
Okay, hold on. We'll let you see it. See it now?
Okay. Yes.
Underneath it are the bushes. There's the 4 presidents at a presidential dinner I went to. Behind there, you got Senator Phil Graham. I was with Phil Graham. 1993, that is. 93. Or 1990. I got the Pope over here. I got the Pope. You see the Pope? The Pope. Pope John Paul. You see it?
Wow. I had a dream that I had tea with him.
There's Tony Soprano. We all know that guy. And up there is me on Law and Order. You see it?
Not very well.
How about now?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. That's me on that great show as Johnny's looking for his muscle-bound picture. And it's taking a long time because I'm getting to tell my whole life story here.
Keep talking.
Yeah, and
Where is it? Did you find it?
Yeah.
Where's the picture with the gun like this over there on the outside, like this over there, like that? You gotta see it. This is 19 years. The thing that gets me is he looks like he's about 30. You know, it's like old muscle bound. He's sitting there with what, like a 50 caliber or something you had?
M60.
An M60.
Right.
Sitting with the M60. Where is it?
Hold on a minute. Here, I got this one.
Hey, let's see.
With the M60. This is on the back of the book.
Okay. Are you seeing what I'm talking about there?
Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's Rambo. That's John at 19 years old. Same guy that got shot for his country, rescuing 3. And his cousin got blown up.
Not a vegan, I take it. Not a vegan.
Not a what?
He's not a vegan. Not a vegan. No. Does those muscles look like he doesn't eat meat?
Oh.
And not vegetarian. He's Italian. Okay? We call him Johnny Pizza.
Well, you know, right? She doesn't know why they call me Johnny Pizza.
Tell her.
You know, most of us had nicknames, and I was the only Italian in my recon platoon. So this guy Baldy, that's his nickname. He called me Pizza, and he's the one who started it. So that's why they call me Pizza. And I used to
I
send
like
home. I used to send home for Italian food for them to eat. You know, pepperoni and all this stuff. You know.
good stuff. And in New York, I mean, that's the best pizza around, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got some good places up in New York that we go to. The great one of the greatest places was Arthur Avenue and Patsy's, because Carmela used to send pizza to Frank Sinatra. She used to go. She'd put it on the jet. It'd go right there. He'd come and get it. You know, he'd have him pick it up, bring it to the airport, and then he'd heat it up. But he loved the way she made the dough. You know, there's no dough like Patsy. You can't get the pizza. It's old school. It's the only oven in New York that has coal. They heat it with coals. It's stone, and it's coal. Coal
Wow.
oven. So it had the coal taste, like coal, like charcoal. From the old coal, they used to heat the buildings. This
Yeah.
is the only oven in the city like that left,
Mhm.
because it goes back to, you know,
Oh, where do you get coal
1999.
from these days?
Oh,
You know,
God.
coal comes from Kentucky.
Is that right? We didn't make any here
Yeah, the coal miner's daughter.
Oh, yeah, I remember her. Wasn't that Sissy Spacek too?
So there's a lot of coal mines in
Wasn't that you in your other leading role?
Yes, that's why I'm here.
I get it.
Came back
Why you
home.
you have to leave there. You know that, right?
I know. I'm looking
After
at.
we do, you got to run.
Tell my mom she's got to leave Oregon. My mom's in Oregon.
Then tell mom to come to Florida with you and the hubby. Come down.
Tell
You know,
her
we're
where
trying to
you're
get,
at.
yeah, we're trying to say, okay, you retired enough
And
upstate. Come to
She's
Florida.
Catholic. She's Catholic. She's a devout Catholic.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's the pictures there. So that's a history of, I got Bush, I got everybody. It's a lifelong. I even got from Democrats, Mario Biaggi. The first thing that I made for veterans in the '80s was to bring to legislation, because I wanted to start, like I told you, I food business. My family is in it, and among other things.
Italian restaurant named Rayos.
And well, that's one. I mean, on the family, that's just
It's
one. My
Jewish.
cousin was the Arizona beverage king. But food is in my bones. My mother was the mother at 16, and all the Italian side of her family raised her cooking that. She used to roll out the raviolis. Everything was fresh. There was no other way you were getting it. You weren't getting a box. My mother would pull out a box. There'd be none of that, right, John? There's a box.
No,
What's that?
no.
What is that? They throw it at you.
Yeah.
And the old school, Aunt Lena Rayo, Joe Rayo's wife, this is how they taught her. When I got married the first time, my cousin, my Aunt Lena, told all the other cousins what to get for the wedding. They, like the Italians, okay, you're going to get him this, you're going to do his bathroom, you're going to do his living room, you're going to do this. And they they set you up. I was 19 getting married. I was turning 20. I got married August 5th, 1979. I was still a kid. My cousin's kid. They said, look, he looks like he's making his communion. I had a white tie. I had the white tie. And I wanted, I had a Gatsby look. Nobody did this. I had 24 people in my bridal party. We all looked like gangsters. I had the only thing I didn't have was the spats and the fedoras. I made them wear the white gloves, red roses, and they all had the wingtip collar shirts. My friend, if his car was ready, was going to give me his 1936 Rolls Royce with the running board. But it wasn't ready. He said, Darren, I give it to you. He's a friend from Brooklyn. He later died, but he owned the Manor East, a catering hall. What a good guy. And he gave me the following 1980s menu at 1979 price. For 200 people paid, it was $5,500.
Wow.
He said, no, he threw in. I gave 2 hours for the Viennese. It's on me, because he knew he knew them. Brooklyn kid. Yeah. Nah, this is on me. This is on me. This is on me. And what an incredible time. 185 people showed up out of 200.
That's a party.
Oh, man, we were going rocking. My cousin he was young. He was playing piano. It was great. 24 people in the bridal party.
That's a lot of people, man.
We were rocking. I had the limousine.
Nice.
My father handed me my first cigar as a grown man, and it was good stuff. It was good stuff. It was memories that today, as I get closer to my father's age, and I think about it today, time is so short, and we have to recognize the shortness of that time and make the best of that time. So when I'm helping folks and advocating, that's part of my time to do now, ordained by God, not by me. I could say yes or I could say no. We just had a little flaw in the case. The judge grants back to 2003 on the case, that Social Security case, but only wants to pay from 2018. I said, no. I'm going to appeals council. No, I'm going to injunctive relief in the district court because you have the case on your table saying from past to this point. Because under the Steiberger and Kelly Goldberg, which are Social Security rules, that you should have not stopped a check without, you can't stop it until it's adjudicated by an administrative law judge. But because she's mentally affected, and in the 1980s, I'm the guy that started homebound visits. Reagan helped. He liked the idea and started telling Social Security had to come to the house. They didn't execute any of that. This girl has mental effect. She was of an adult, but of an adult with a disability entitled to her mother and father's benefit. They were giving her Title 16, which is SSI, federal welfare. I thought the judge didn't want it. I object. Remember I told you, object, we object. We're objecting. So, and I said, no, I only got this, and I'm going to go back to this date. They interfered with her check, but she's still entitled. So I'm going to make the case, and she's going to get both. They'll stop one, but they still got to pay her for it. Because one thing has nothing to do with the other. She was entitled to this. It's not her fault that you didn't adjudicate her as an adult child, because her mother made an application, you ignored it. I made a request before the court because she needs an accommodation. The judge had every authority because of the mental effect and the challenges. And here's the thing. She had a point of contact which established and paid her a benefit. It's the wrong benefit at one point. Understand? But until the age of 22, when they cut her benefit after her father died, she was entitled to his benefit. She had no gainful employment. The judge says it. So I made a motion while we were talking and getting ready. Shiar was making that address to the appeals council. But then I said, do this forthwith. Otherwise, I'm going to the district court for injunctive relief. Why? You denied her due process. I don't got to go through you to get what the judge said, but left it out. You understand? You don't get to review that. She don't have to wait another 17 years. You denied her in the process. I'm taking you in for violations of the ADA, the Social Security, and I already got them as a defendant already. You see, because this is what they do on a regular basis. Because you can't say it or can't do it. Hello, that's the purpose. It's the disability organization of the country. And they don't accommodate.
Darren, I have to go,
Right.
but I found the picture.
I have to go
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah. This is it here. I was 16.
Move
Look
it over. There you go. Oh, yes.
You feel that? Look at that.
Wow. Impressive.
Well, okay.
Very.
So I guess we'll sign out. Again, we want to thank Sean.
Thank
Are
you.
you there? Sean, we don't see any messages. Well, I'm Darren Aquino, John Fratangelo, and Shannon.
Signing out.
And we want to thank Code Media. We want to thank Sean and Triple Vibe Radio. And we want to thank John for also showing everybody, we got to get that book. If you want to see a book and you are a veteran, you love veterans, you're a veteran
Eric
family,
would like the book.
okay, you want to see this book, you want to read this book, because we are working on, which I forgot to mention, I got to call David. We are working on the mini series. I put together with Dave Carlton Beck, who's a producer. I'm going to be an executive producer, and John is going to critique all of our choices for, the guy that's going to play John. And this is going to be a mini series about his life, his cousin's life, and life in the military. And you're going to see different points and friends of his, the effect it had on these young boys, because that's what they were.
Sounds like an
They were
amazing
teenagers.
story. That's a good-
It's going to be the last goodbye. It's the name of it. It's the last goodbye, and we're going to try. What I want to capture is in the book where he says goodbye. His cousin comes to him at Epiphany. He has it. It's real. It's there. That's why you got to see the book.
Goosebumps.
He sees him, and he's dressed, and he says goodbye. Says
Wow.
goodbye, and this is important because veteran families need to know it. Even his aunt, and John tells other stories. You'll see we've told these stories, and we will continue. We like to bring him up with veterans, but you're the wife of a veteran. He served his country well. He is deserving of the Congressional Medal of Honor, and I'm going to do everything in my power as we get through. I wonder if I could sue them for it. Because he did become disabled, and he became disabled during this act of heroism, above and beyond.
A lot
And,
of guys do it. Aaron.
Huh?
A lot of guys do the same thing, you know.
Well,
Axel
not a lot of guys. Not a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't do what you did. You know, I know you're modest, but you know what? That's what I get to do as an advocate. What you did was put your life in place. How do we know? Because you took the bullet to prove it. So you may think, no big deal, I'm going to do that. That's your heart and spirit. That's what makes Italian Americans of courage, like you, as a young boy, what nobody's getting here. They see the man, but they weren't on the battlefield with the boy who made a decision, who made a conscious decision to go save his fellow soldiers. He made up his mind and went into gunfire. I don't take that lightly. And nobody listening, nobody anywhere should take that lightly, because you were 19 and you were struck down by enemy fire. Okay? You were entitled. You didn't take out one. You didn't take out two. On the third body he was pulling out while he was ducking bullets, he was hit.
Absolutely.
He was hit. He's entitled to that congressional. I want him to have it. I think he should have it. I don't care his age now. He's entitled to it. It was long overdue. Long overdue. And
do it, Darren. You can get it. You're the one. If anyone can get it, you can get it. You can do it. You can.
When all I need is the opportunity. All I need is the cricket needs a little doorway. I just need to sit on a shoulder, and they will come up with that medal, because it's not from anything I said. It's from everything he done. It's just making sure the right people know. You know what I mean? It sounds stupid, but why does the right people have to know? America is knowing now. America should say, "Oh, where's his medal?" You know what I mean? If I was sitting in the audience like this, and let me tell you, after this movie, I think God is waiting so that they could see. Because I told Dave, because I told John, I says, John, I want to go backwards in the film at the beginning. I want to show the body draped, and I want to show you on the plane. And I want your memory to go backwards. I want you to think of what's going on while you're sitting there, because it's a good opening. You know, now we go back. We'll go back to the Bronx when he's growing up, so you get to meet Anthony and what it was like for an Italian family. You know, he did some good things. It's not in stone. You know, we got to do what they call a cure, a treatment, and then we start to go to work. We got to have a place to start, a foundation. But when Italian families are so unique in many ways, for the many attributes that make us Italian, you know, like the pizza, for example, you know. So when you see this man here, who's still big, by the way, he's still big, huge. I walk behind him when we get into the club in case, you know, the Rhino Republicans are there. I'll be like this. Oh, hey, because we got an wait here, right here. Order. And when we go in and they get to see this, when you can imagine this young boy sitting on the plane coming back in the body, and we bring you into his mind. Remember that part I told you on how we research as actors, and how I want you to go into the pain to address, and how you learn to separate it, like to be the guy that's looking at it and now articulate it. Remember how we went through that exercise? No, I still got to do it with you a few times. I know it takes you a little bit, but we'll get it down. But with here, I want people to see John's life. I wanted to know the moment that he felt the pain while he was still in shock, knowing that he's escorting the body home. Who that is in there? That's his childhood buddy. They grew up as brothers. It's his blood cousin. The family's united together, and I want to show all this. I want to show how the Italian family came together, because you know what? All they did in the early days was call us guineas and wops. You know, you think people of color had challenges? You didn't want to be Italian then. Even blacks were treated better then. Okay? Irish, Italian, they're victims. People of color have more. Black, my friends, we grew up, you know, and my dear friends, like Sean's our friend. You know what I mean? When we got to say something, you know, we don't like discrimination of that kind. But our discrimination has become so widespread, It's not limited to color anymore. It's not. And that's where we got away from who we are as a people. So when we go back in John's story, I want you to see John's Italian family. I want you to see how to survive, they lived together. That's how they grew up. And then what you're going to see is the love, the laughter, the holidays. And everybody, when they see this miniseries, as we go back and forth, they said they wanted to do a movie. That was my first thought. And I said, nope, we're going to go miniseries. Then we could do the movie. And at the end, John is sitting there talking with the ones that are still alive that we're going to portray. Everybody that was with him has got a story in there that John is going to tell the way he wants it told. Me, I'm just going to be there to bring out the passion of what it feels like to be an Italian family and lose a family member. I'm going to go deep into the passion and the love that we have. Do you understand? And how that affects us, you know? Yeah, and what that's like to grow up with your cousin who's like your brother and then bring the body home and you're only 19. And you're a hero. You're a hero. You're a 19-year-old hero who just saved 3 men. You understand?
Yes.
And then today you don't get the respect of even your service. You know, now they say that a courtesy. Okay? That was valor. That was valor above and beyond. He ran into the fire. We get firemen that run into fires today. That's of the same equivalent, but here's the difference. They could burn and fight, but he ran into gunfire. We have cops that do that, honorable cops that do it every day. We have to recognize the truth. And those who are not in the truth or in a lie, we got to call them out. That's what makes us and sets us aside as the great United States, that we got to have the courage to call them out. When that guy put his foot in his neck over there on George Floyd, he's a criminal. He's a criminal. You understand? But we don't give flags to people because of that. Because that takes away, I wasn't happy that Nancy Pelosi did that, because that sends a different message. Johnny's cousin, he gets the flag. Somebody that has a confrontation and dies as a result of a reckless police officer, you don't give a flag. It sends a bad message. You understand? We arrest the cop. We give him jail. We don't give out flags for that. We don't do it because it's different standards for heroism, okay? He was accused and he did pass counterfeit money and the commission of a crime, it resulted badly because the cop is a criminal, a murderer. We found that, we agree, that's it. We don't hand the family, Nancy Pelosi, using the person's sorrows and miseries, hand the flag like, look what Democrats did for you, we're giving you a flag. It misrepresents a folded flag and what it represents. It says
valor.
It's okay. Yes, it says it's okay for a guy to die in the commission of a crime.
Right,
no,
right.
it's not. No, it's not.
Correct.
The cop gets punished. We recognize the loss. The country supports the effort to prosecute the cop, and that's where it ends. And then there's financial compensation, which is justifiably so. No ifs, ands, buts about it. But we do not ever give a flag in a situation like that. Not ever. It disgraces our veterans. As a veteran family of 7 generations, I can't accept that. I can't. John went to the battlefield. John took a bullet. His cousin was blown up. A war that made no sense, but these men, boys, doing the duty of men, did their duty. They get that flag. And if they don't get that flag or that medal, you will hear from me. That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's what we have to remember. And that's why I'm grateful to Sean, Code Media, and of course, Johnny and me. And that's why I'm the creator of this forum. It was going to be The Advocate, but because it's military, Carl, my partner, associate, he said, let's call it Code Wind Talk, because just before the Vietnam, right, the World War II is when the Wind Talk came. So we figured, okay, John handles all our veterans, for the most part. Whatever he forgets to ask, then I whisper in his ear, cricket. I pull the cricket, and we go there. And as you can see, his Purple Heart, he earned it. He earned it. And So when it comes to those folks, our veterans, they are also a protected class, but they're not treated like that. And we like to thank all of our veterans. So I don't know, how are we going to sign off here?
I just want to ask Shannon, I'll send you a book. Just text me your address.
Shannon?
I'm getting an echo.
Okay. Text your address. I don't even have your address. Oh, I do have your address. I think it's on the check. It is on the check. It's on the check, right?
Yes.
I'll send a picture. Send a picture of the check to John.
And what's your husband's name?
His name is Eric.
Eric?
Yeah, name is Eric. Eric,
Okay.
like my Eric.
Yes.
Stop, Eric. We're alive still.
Send me your address. I'll send you a book.
Oh my goodness. I would be honored.
Yeah, no
Thank you,
problem.
John.
It's a good read.
I will.
It's a
I
good
look
read.
forward to it.
You will cry. You will cry.
I'm already trying.
I know. Well, it's been an exciting day, has it not? We got some victories. We're going to fight some more. You know, as long as we can live to fight another day. God is good.
Absolutely.
And we got that blessing. Hold on. I'm going to check in with Carl.
Freedom is not free. Just
No.
remember, everybody.
No, it's not.
Stand up for your freedoms.
And these folks paved that way. And I hate it when they disrespect them. I hate it so much. I can't believe we're 2 hours in. I told you this would happen. But Carl's not answering. We're calling Carl Van Nives, or Van Nivius the third.
Well, let me say the quote from Belle v. Maryland.
Go ahead.
A 1964 case that involved trespassing and arresting people. At the time, it was the African Americans and the sit-ins for going into a place of public accommodation. And in the opinion by the Chief Justice, I believe it was Warren, he said the first Chief Justice of the U.S.
Judge Warren Judge Warren
spoke of the free air of American life. Now remember, this is all about breathing. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. He spoke of the free air of American life. The great purpose of the 14th Amendment is to keep it free and equal. Under the Constitution, no American can or should be denied rights fundamental to freedom and citizenship. I therefore join in reversing these trespass convictions.
Very good.
Justice Warren, 1964.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bell
No
versus
trespass. They
Maryland.
wanted to make people of color, black, trespassers.
That's
And
right.
This is
It's
the
the
same
same
thing.
thing
What
happening
they
today.
did was they gender switched and disability. They hit it with two. In my belief, it was two. Remember we said that in the discussion? We got them on two. 2 counts of discrimination, and not at any time. So listen, they convict. The district court will reverse. If not, the appellate court. We're not stopping. They got the wrong guy for that. That's the guy down the street. That ain't me. We're going in headstrong, and we will come back with a victory. I believe that after the judge gets more, if we do a good job and put in these things with Warren, and we articulate it right, we'll work on an amicus from me that sounds to yours, okay? You and Chiara could type. I don't type. You know I don't type. I just talk, you know? And look how I talk. I could just keep going. John laughs every day. Call too, they go,
I know.
this is like, that's my thing. I can talk.
It is. It's your great gift from God.
It is a gift some days. Except when you go, screw you, judge. Sanction, $100. Well, all right. Let me go for another 100 while I'm at it. You dirty dog. You pig. And they don't like it. They don't like my freedom. I said, wait a second. What do you mean? I'm sanctioned for what? Exercising my free right, you prick. They didn't like it. They took offense to it. I don't understand
that.
why. What did I do? I mean, you know. What?
Well, I'll read one more and then I'm going to sign
Good.
off
Good.
from the
Excellent.
same case, if that's okay. The
Yeah,
Constitution.
We're trying to get Carl. Are we getting Sean? Did they forget us?
I think so. They wanted us to talk some more.
This is the first time that I've ever been where 2 hours, 19 minutes in. And hold on, 4 of 8 people are in. We're still on. 4 of 8 of us are in, right?
Wow.
4 of 8 in
We're
call.
3.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to read one more and then I'm going to sign off, Darren and John.
Okay, so, okay, anybody else, any other questions here?
I don't know how to send my address. I don't want to give it over the air.
Darren will text it to me then.
I'll text
Okay.
it. I'll text it to him.
Let me see if it can I just take a picture in the chat.
Yeah. She was going to take a picture of I have the check inside. Take a photograph of it and I'll send it. I'll text it to you, John. But yeah, sure, you could call. I mean, John, we could give you, write this number down, Shannon, because if your husband is veteran, stuff like that, John talks to all the veterans. I'm going to give you a phone number. It's a secret phone number for all our viewers, but we don't care. If you want to call us, we take calls, we take calls. You already have my number. My number's already out there. I did it on television, right, John?
Yeah, I found it. That's how I found you.
Right? If you want to call the candidate, call me at 929-245-1151. That's right.
Oh, you should have given that a long time ago.
The reporter went like this on national TV. If I'm the congressman for the country, how are they going to get the congressman? I'll tell you how. They're going to call me, and I'm going to answer the phone. I'm responsible to the people. Not my secretary, not the clerks, not this guy. Me. I'm the guy they elected. I'm the guy they want to talk to. I'm the guy that's humbled to be that guy, and I will. So therefore, they get my phone number, because how are they going to call their congressman? Well, here it is.
Perfect timing with that.
Okay.
Ding.
So anyway, John, say your number.
Want my number?
Yeah, say your number.
914-954-2350.
All right, got it.
Her address
Okay,
just came in, I
I'm
think.
going to read the next quote,
Okay.
and then I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Tell it is it's a citation from the court, right?
It is from Bellevue, Maryland. I don't think it was from Warren. I think it was from Black, but I'm not going to swear to that.
Justice Black. Okay.
The constitutional right. I didn't write down who said him. I usually do.
I'm gonna have to retrain you on this.
Yes, the constitutional right of all Americans to be treated as equal members of the community with respect to public accommodations is a civil right granted by the people in the Constitution, a right which is too important in our free society to be stripped of judicial protection.
That's right.
That's from Westbury v. Sanders.
I like that one. I want to use that one. I want to use that because that's what they did. They stripped you of your judicial protection.
Yes.
How did they do so? They said you have to wear a mask. The law says, the 14th Amendment says she's exempt. On top to add insult to injury, they arrested her. They changed her judicial claim, her judicial protection that she sought, met with retaliation in the form of arrest and abuse from the store and the police. And now the prosecutor.
And incarceration.
That's the police and the sheriff's department. Those folks have to answer. They have to answer. Okay? And at no time did she have a female officer do a pat down or anything. She presented no harm. And the call was false. And they tried to strike that. The prosecutor is maliciously and viciously and discriminatorily coming against her. And now he's going to eat shit and I'm going to feed him. I'm holding the spoon. For sure, for sure.
Said that early.
Right? I told her I'm going to hold the spoon. Come here. What's his name? Come here, Hudson. Come here. Oh, here comes the plane. Get this big shovel of horse shit. Here it comes. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I guess we should, what do we do, John? Should we? Nobody's answering.
Well, I gotta go. I have to go.
I gotta go
Me too.
too.
We gotta go. This is
Okay,
Darren
so
Aquino and John
everybody.
Francesco and Shannon Greer, our guest, saying thank you for another Wind Talk, and we'll see you soon. God bless. And
bless.
I'm hanging up. Hang up. Hanging up. Let's hang up. Hang
Good
up.
night.
Bye. Bye.
I'll
Bye.
send you the
Bye,
book right out tomorrow.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye bye.